Good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Schifrin, and I am the chair of the Planning Board. I call this meeting of the Planning Board to order on Monday, February 13th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. May I have a roll call vote, please, of the board members?
Carol Hofstas present.
Robert Therian present.
Laura
Mike
Schifrin.
Verosco. Oh, sorry, Lori.
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Mike Verosco present.
And Laura Schifrin present. I did have a call from Ian Ortiz, and he was called away. He was intending to be with us, but he can't at this point. I'd like us to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our meeting is being recorded, and I would like to thank Ian for his service to our country, as always. 1.4, Chairman's additions, deletions to agenda unforeseen prior to 48 hours of this meeting. I do not have any. 1.5, approval of the minutes of January 9th, 2023, which was emailed to all of the board members, and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of January 9th, 2023.
I second.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion, additions or deletions, questions? Seeing none, I'll take a roll call vote.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Robert Therian here.
Yeah, you want to say yes, if you're approving them.
Yes, I approve the minutes.
Thank you.
Mike Verosco, yes.
Thank you, Mike, and Laura Schifrin, yes. Down to 1.6, review volunteer response forms for the planning board vacancy. Beth, have we received any? No. Okay, well, to everyone listening out there, we are still looking for volunteers for that open position. So we now are ahead of our schedule for the public hearings. So I'd like to go down to 3.1, under meeting business, appoint a planning board member as a representative to the Capital Planning Committee. There is a vacancy there, and one is needed for the planning board. Does anyone have any suggestions?
Lori, I did it last year. I just don't have time with a newborn this year to undo it this year, unfortunately.
Okay, I appreciate that. Robert or Carol, would either one of you like to serve on that committee?
What is it? What does that
I
committee
think
do?
it's
What's involved? Yeah.
So, Lori, I can kind of touch base because it was last year. Last year I was on it. Actually, it was really interesting. We only met a couple of times, and it was mostly with department heads to talk about what kind of capital finances they were going to need, like fire department with some new trucks, highway department with different equipment. It was, I want to say, 3 or 4 meetings because of how the department heads were able to meet, and you just kind of go over what they're asking for, with what we can kind of get, and there's a lot of you're more there as just a planning board member. The finance, a lot of the guys that are in finance kind of help run things and explain a lot of it along the way.
ultimately what happens is that the capital planning makes recommendations to the finance committee for our budget.
I think I could do that.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion then to present Robert Therian to the Capital Planning Committee to the Board of Selectmen for appointment. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Robert Therian as a representative to the Capital Planning Committee for the Planning Board representative.
Is
I'll
there-
second that.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Can I vote?
Yes, you can vote.
It's about me, right?
It's okay, you can vote. That means you accept it when you say yes.
I already did, I guess. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael?
Mike Verosco, yeah.
And Laura Schifrin, yes. Robert, thank you very much. And Beth, would you pass that along to the Board of Selectmen ASAP?
It's Veronica Kell as a BOS representative.
I think they need to approve the appointment. That's why it goes to the BOS. So if you can get it for their next meeting, I know they were chomping at the bits to get someone. Let's see, we still have a little bit of time. 3.2, Beth, can you handle that?
Let's see, how much time? Nah, that one might take a little bit. That's the request for certificate of completion.
Okay.
So,
3.3, mandatory referral on 5 Ryan Road, accessory apartment. I thought we did that, no?
no, this is another one. 5 Ryan Road. The zoning board of appeals can't act on this special permit without the comments of the planning board. So the application is in your file, and it's basically a pre-existing apartment inside of that was built quite a while ago at 5 Ryan Road. I think it's Bayberry Crossing.
Is that the parking lot one?
No. This is
No.
a
Accessory apartment.
accessory apartment application
Oh,
Yeah.
with the ZBA.
Oh.
But the planning board has to comment on it before it can proceed.
Oh, yeah, I read that. I thought I printed something else. Maybe I didn't.
Ryan Road is an older, well, maybe late 90s subdivision. It's a cul-de-sac in West Townsend. So they built the accessory apartment. Are they doing this as affordable? Is this,
So that will be determined at the hearing. They're subject to the bylaw in terms of what they will be, how they will proceed.
Hmm.
If they're not gonna have a family in there, then they will be enrolling in the LIP program. So I'm still kind of waiting for a contact on that. But anyway,
talking about one apartment,
yes, one apartment, it's pre-existing, already,
it's pre-existing.
yeah, and
And
it's
they wanted it to be,
built inside the house.
was it a basement?
I think it's a lower level, yeah.
I think I read that it was a basement
Mhm.
apartment,
Mhm.
and they wanted to make it affordable, so.
Well, they did mention that they would consider the affordable housing, apartment program.
So that means it's on an in-law apartment.
Well, that means that it could be counted towards our housing inventory, our affordable housing inventory, but I don't know whether an in-law, I don't know whether they're gonna have a family member or they're gonna make it an affordable. If they enroll in the affordable apartment, accessory apartment program, that's through the state. So they've kind of left it open that that's what they're inclined to do, but I don't think there's gonna,
Did they explain why they wanted this apartment?
it's not. It was never permitted, so they're coming forward to get it permitted. And in that process, they expressed interest in the affordable apartment. Program, which is part of the bylaw.
Is it a one bedroom, two bedroom?
I don't know.
I think it's one.
Is it one? Yeah, one bedroom, yeah.
I thought accessory apartments had to be only one bedroom. It could be one. I thought that.
Yeah,
Did they express a hardship or anything?
nope. No, they do have, they're currently working with the Board of Health, on the septic system, which does have to be upgraded because of the new regulations, so.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
while ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
That's always my concern. As long as whatever people want to do with their properties, this is just my opinion, they should be able to do it as long as it's within the guidelines of the Board of Health. You know, when the well's fine and the septic's fine and you're not harming anything to the environment around or the groundwater. Housing is is at a shortage. So, so what would you like to make as a comment back to the zoning board?
I personally think I don't see how it'd be detrimental to the neighborhood and, probably, I think I would endorse it.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Michael? Not sure he's going to be off and on.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I lost service for a second.
Okay, no problem. This is on that accessory apartment at 5 Ryan Road. Would you be supporting it back to the zoning
Yes,
board? Okay,
yes. Oh, yeah, definitely.
okay. And Beth, I think and I support that as well. So with the 4 yeses, that would just be our opinion that will go back to the zoning board.
Yeah,
Or do you want a motion?
well, yeah, you probably would have a motion, but can I write, the following? The planning board approves of the permitting of an accessory apartment at 5 Ryan Road. Is that sufficient? Or do you want more? Okay. So yeah, I would vote on it.
Okay. So that's the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Who made it?
Okay. Well, Robert made it. He spoke first.
Okay.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you for writing it. Okay. Any further discussion on the motion?
No.
Hearing none. I'll take a roll call vote.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Robert Therian, yes.
Mike Verosco, yes.
Laura Schifrin, yes. Thank you, guys. Let's see. Quickly, I think we could probably do the DLTA update, 3.5. Got a minute.
Yeah, I can help with that. The Board of Selectmen did, submit a application. And I just received it later this afternoon, and I did put it in the folders. So I figured you guys can individually review that. Is that okay? Or if you want to print it, you can print it out.
No.
Okay, but yeah. Yeah, and they based it on input from the planning board. Robert wrote that letter, and they also based it on previous, DLTA grants, kind of building off of what it's done before.
Already been done, right?
Yeah, it's for the
So
MBTA.
they accepted the letter?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
It was used as part of the application,
Okay.
and it was written by the town administrator and approved by the Board of
Oh,
Selectmen.
good.
So
And
the
all-
MBTA community.
All of that was, yes, right. All of that
Yeah.
was reported at our last meeting of MRPC. So,
Oh,
yeah, it was really great. Nice to hear.
I think we'll be all set with that MBTA.
Really?
Yeah, so they build it in. So that'd be
Okay.
nice.
We are at 6:45. And 2.2645, 22 Main Street, site plan review special permit. Change of use from residential to veterinary hospital, February 13th, 2023, continued from January 23rd, 2023. Mainly because our meeting was canceled because of weather. Continued from December 12th, 2022. So as chair, I am reconvening the meeting, this public hearing at 6:45 on Monday, February 13th. Board members, if you would please introduce yourselves.
Robert Therian,
Carol Hofstas.
Mike Verosco.
And Laura Schifrin. Now there's a public sign-in sheet. And I would like those that are here on Zoom, since we're in a public hearing, I need everyone to introduce themselves.
Stan Dillis from Dillis and Roy.
Jeff Walsh from Graves Engineering.
Jess Franioli from town.
Thank you, Jess.
Alf Berry from Alf Berry Land Surveying.
Thank you.
Tim Grace from Ty and Bond.
Thank you, Tim.
Haley Rivers from Ty and Bond.
Thank you, Haley. Is that Phil?
Yep, Phil Colometta, Lunenburg.
Okay, thank you. I think that's everyone, right, Beth? Just want to make sure. Okay, that looks like everyone. Is there
That
anyone?
looks like everyone, Lori. I just
Thank
went through the list too.
And in the audience in town hall?
Mary Danielson, Ty and Bond.
Dave Bishop, Township Water. Land Bond, just watching.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so this is Stan,
Yes.
on you now.
Okay. If Beth, could you put up the plan I sent over earlier? And so this site has a long history, a lot longer than I've been involved. We got involved, 6 weeks or a couple of months ago to try to come up with a site plan that would satisfy the requirements for site plan review, for parking, etc. So we had to do our due diligence, do our survey and all that kind of stuff. And then we've had a few go-rounds with Dr. Thurber to come up with something that she thinks will fit her needs and that will make the site as accessible as it can be made. It's a pretty narrow lot, and the house is smack dab right in the middle of it. And I gave something to Beth earlier today that shows parking, circulation, a dumpster, handicap parking, handicap ramp. What we don't have done yet, we don't have stormwater mitigation worked out yet, but we will have that worked out before the next meeting. So I think by the next meeting, you should have everything that you need, and you could make a decision on this. It would be nice for you guys to all be able to see it. I don't know if Beth can share her screen or not.
Not right now, I'm trying to log in.
Oh, okay. All right.
One second.
Essentially, I can describe it to you anyhow. Everybody knows the site because it's kind of been a topic of discussion for a while now. And it's between McDonald's and Patriot Pizza, and they're doing some renovations to the house. There's an existing driveway. It's right now, she's running her veterinary clinic out of there now, and people are just parking in the front yard, and it's a mess. So in order to get parking in the rear of the building, which is what Dr. Thurber would like, so she can clean up the front, we actually end up having to have the handicap spot in the front of the building because the front door and a handicap ramp would have to go there. And then we have a one-way circulation that goes around the building. And the zoning requires us to have 7 spaces. So one is the handicap, and then we have 6 spaces in the back. And the septic system's in the back. We have avoided driving over the septic system. They did replace the septic tank with an H20 tank. So that's okay for us to drive over. And the dumpster is in the back. The dumpster will be in an enclosure. We have contained everything on site, and we're not going to alter the existing entrance. So we had said we would need we would file for a mass highway curb cut permit if needed, but we don't feel that that's needed anymore. So once we work out the drainage and some of the other details, oh, there it is. So you can see the lot's only about 100 feet wide and the house is right in the middle of it. So there's no way we can even get double barrel access around the house. So we're proposing to have, as you come in off Main Street, you'd go to the right of the house and there's 2 parking spaces down on one side of the septic system, and there's 5 over on the other side, and the dumpster would be down at the end of that little parking area there. And then when you left, you would drive around the front of the house and back out onto Main Street. And that the HP spot would be in the front, right below where Beth had her cursor. And we'd have striping and a sidewalk that went around the sides of the building to the front door. We did take and on the software, we drove a trash truck in there so that to make sure they could get to the dumpster, and they can get to the dumpster, but then they would have to go back out the one way on the left side of the building. But the trash pickup would be more than likely not when there's people there, and it's such a short distance that if a trash truck was coming out, somebody coming in would see it and could pull over. There's no way to get the truck to make the circulation around the building because the building is in the way. The radiuses are too tight. So that's where we're at. If you could just pan up a little bit, that's maybe scroll down a little bit, I guess. Yeah. There's a natural depression down towards behind there, and that's where we're planning to get the grading to work and have our runoff infiltrate into the ground in that location. So with that, that's where we are. I know the progress isn't as fast as everybody might like, but we are making progress, and I think we've come up with a solution that is basically the best you can do for that site. So I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Board members, any questions from the board?
What is the width of the driveway at the curb cut?
It's 18 feet.
18?
Yes.
And do you feel confident you can get that approved by the state highway?
Well, we're not altering it. We're using the existing driveway cut, so we won't have to go and talk to Mass DOT.
Well,
Driveway exists.
the original driveway was for a residential use. This is now a commercial use, and it's indicating at least 7 parking spaces. So, do you believe that there'd be a hazard here with the people exiting out of the Patriot Pizza?
I don't think so, but that's a good point that it's a commercial use. We'll have to check with Mass Highway to see if actually that triggers the requirement for a permit. There's no other way in or out of the site, and that exists. I don't think they can't say no, and we can't come in further down towards McDonald's because they just did all that turn lane and that striping in the road there, and you really can't come out of there and take a left. That way it's across from the high school. So we're kind of stuck with the entrance we have. There's not a lot. We don't have a lot of flexibility there, and Mass Highway might weigh in on it, and we'll see if they want to weigh in on it. But I don't really see anywhere else we can access the site.
Yeah, I understand that. Now, I'm just playing a scenario here. If this was an undeveloped property to be used for the use intended, would you have allowed an 18-foot driveway there?
We probably would have. First of all, we would have put the building in a totally different location. And yes, we probably would have had a wider entrance than is there now. A lot of this is driven by where the existing building is. It's just plunk right in the middle of the lot. If you were going to start from scratch on this building, you'd probably turn the building 90 degrees and push it over to one side and have parking, have a double row of parking along the property line and along the building.
I see a lot of pedestrian interaction here and the circulation to get into the entrance and the driveway issue. It seems like we're forcing a residential house to be a commercial building is generating all these issues.
Yeah, you're correct. We're trying to make this commercial use fit the site, and that's not the normal way that you would do it.
Carol, any questions?
The only thing I had is that driveway's kind of narrow, so if a car is trying to come in and a car is trying to go out, is there enough space for two cars to pass?
There's enough space for that.
All right. It's hard to tell when you're driving past it.
I know it's hard to, because your Main Street's you can't really slow down and take a good look at it because you got to keep moving. I agree. But I think, I don't know how they're doing it, but people are getting in and out of there now, and they're parking in the front yard, and it's kind of a muddy mess there right now.
Yeah, they park everywhere.
Right. And they're parking actually, they're parking very close to Main Street, which isn't safe, not to mention the fact that it's actually in the right of way there. So
I don't remember there being any real vegetation there, so it's very visible.
right. And that's one thing that we'll propose when we get to the finality of the site design. We'll propose some plantings and something along, and we'll have some plantings on the final plan when we're finished.
Any other questions from the board?
One other concern I have, the Patriots Pizza parking driveway. There's an entry and exit sign there, correct?
I believe that's their one way in and out, correct?
I'd be a little concerned about confusion with this driveway so close to that one with the same kind of exit and entry signs. You think there's a way that can be addressed?
We looked at this pretty hard. I don't really see another way other than completely moving the access. And then, like I said, I think you run afoul of that recent turn lane and stuff that Mass Highway just did on Main Street.
I
Real
think,
challenge.
One thing I would say is, there's going to be very little in and out traffic. There's going to be Dr. Thurber and one or two people that work for, and one or two patients at a time that are going to come and go. We're not going to have people coming and going in droves. It's going to, a patient's going to come in and then they'll wait their turn, and the patient that's there will leave. It's very unlikely that there'll be more than one car circulating around the site at any time.
Stan, I would agree with that. I think that now they don't have any parking in the back, so now you see everything out front. It's a real.
I don't think there's going to be there might be two or three people coming in when they start their workday, and then at the end of the day. But during business hours, I can't envision that there'd be more than one or two or maybe three cars there at any one time, and they wouldn't all be coming and going at the same time.
And just as an aside, that driveway for Patriots Pizza, I mean, it's been there for years now, and this driveway has never changed in all that time. So, it's difficult with a pre-existing lot and conditions to make it per today's bylaws.
I will agree with that statement.
So,
I think we all do.
I think you've done a pretty good job with considering the situation. I think the circular was a great idea to use the one curb cut, but that's just my opinion.
Well, we can't. We Mass Highway wouldn't allow us for 2 curb cuts there.
Yeah. Okay, are there any comments from the audience regarding this? Hearing none. I would entertain a motion to continue this hearing to 6:45 on February 27th. Beth, is that right? That works for us?
Yep.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to continue the hearing of 22 Main Street site plan review special permit at 6:45 on 27 February 2023.
I
Is there a
second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Robert Darian, yes.
Mike Verosco, yes.
And Laura Schifrin, yes.
Thank you.
very much. Stan, we'll see you on the 27th in reference to that.
Thank you.
Okay, again, under 2.1 at 6:45 PM, 25 Harbor Trace Road, continuing a public hearing from January 9th. Stormwater management permit. February 15th, 2023. I'm not sure what that means. Is it supposed to be the 13th? Beth?
What was the question?
Oh, I was just reading what my public hearing, my cheat sheet says, and it says,
No, read that out loud.
okay, so it's February 13th, 2023.
Maybe a joke.
I need the board members to announce themselves.
Robert Darian,
Carol Hofstas,
Michael, are you there?
Mike Verosco here.
And Laura Schifrin. There's a public sign-in sheet, and again, I need to ask the audience to please announce yourselves.
Jeff Walsh from Graves Engineering, engineering review consultant for the planning board.
Thank you, Jeff.
Alf Berry, land surveyor.
Thank you, Beth.
Tim Grace from Ty and Bond.
Thank you, Tim.
Haley Rivers, Ty and Bond.
Thank you, Haley.
Stan Dillis, spectator.
Okay.
Jess Funioli, spectator.
Thank you, Jessica.
Phil Colometto, Lunenburg.
Thank you, Phil. And in the audience,
Barry Danielson, Time Bond.
Dave Duchamp, Townsend Water. Dave Brotek, surveyor with GPR.
thank you all. Okay, so Dave, are you going to address this?
I can give an update. This is Mary
Oh, okay.
Daniels.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So we were here previously to discuss the stormwater.
Could you please come?
Oh, yes.
That's okay. No, I know we can't hear you.
First chair?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
okay.
like right close to the owl. Thank you.
No problem. Mary Danielson, Time Bond. We were here previously in front of the planning board to initially present our stormwater permit for the water treatment plant at 25 Harbor Trace Road. At that time, we had not received the peer review comments, so we're back tonight. We had received the peer review from Graves Engineering, and we issued a response and provided supplemental materials to that. So at this time, we're happy to discuss that further. If there are any specific questions or anything you want us to go over initially, we can do that as well.
Okay. Do any of the board members have a comment or question?
One more football comment.
Laura, where are we with this?
We have, I think you were probably asking Beth. but We have, received the peer review. The water department received it and then they, came back with, their comments to it, their changes, whatever. And then it went back to the peer review for their comments. Now, Beth, would you give a synopsis of where we are with that after our peer review came in?
Essentially, the response that they submitted and the updated revised plans, as well as they revised the stormwater management, the stormwater report. Though all the revisions and the comments were reviewed by Jeffrey Walsh and the peer review engineer. And he essentially has approved of all their revisions. So finally, I think his final comments were, I'll just read the final comments.
Please.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so can I find his summary? He basically is approved of everything that was done. Jeffrey, maybe you want to jump in.
Certainly, Beth. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. We issued our first review letter on January 23rd. Quite frankly, things were in order for the most part. There were some housekeeping items under the section that pertain to the Chapter 175, Article 5, Stormwater Regulations. And rather than belabor those, they were addressed. I'd like to leave it at that. The second section had to do with the hydrology calculations and compliance with the Mass DEP Stormwater Handbook and standards. And quite frankly, things were pretty much in order. We had a few things that we felt needed to be addressed in the hydrology modeling, and those were addressed. And we just had a housekeeping item with respect to the Mass DEP Stormwater Handbook and the paperwork that goes with that. And again, the information came back to us. We reviewed it. Things were in order. We were satisfied with the edits, revisions, and so forth. And we issued our follow-up letter stating that things were in order on February 9th. The follow-up comments we have in our letter in bold text to start with acknowledged. Those are comments that we had made, and the acknowledged part follows up to the comments, and where we expected edits or revisions. Acknowledged means we see the changes, we're satisfied with the results, and no further action is needed. If there's a comment that doesn't start with acknowledged, then that just means it was information for the board, and there was no, whatever we followed up with, it's something that, again, we didn't expect an edit, but was more or less information for the board. So in short, for the proposed water treatment plant, we have no issues with respect to the application they have before you for the stormwater management permit.
Okay. Thank you for that, Jeff.
You're welcome.
So does any board member have any questions for Jeff?
Good job.
Okay, so in this permit that is before us is just for the stormwater permit. So even if something else maybe didn't look right, like an access road or, something else that may be not today's code, that would come under our building commissioner kind of thing to comment on. So.
Yeah, correct. Madam Chair, if I may, we did
Yes.
receive one more referral comment that needs to go into the record from the fire department.
Oh, thank you. Could you please read that because I don't have it in front of me?
I saw that.
That's for you, Robert, to read.
Great, so right here, I was reading.
Just
Can
so
you read it? Can you see it? You want me to read it?
Yeah, I can read it.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
No, read it out.
oh, I have to read it. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
please, Robert, read what it has to be read, it has to be read into the public hearing.
All right, there were comments from the fire department. And I'll read them now. The fire department would like to see the driveway width increase from 15 feet to approximately 18 feet as called out in the plans submitted. And that was signed, I don't,
Captain Grimley.
it was signed. So,
I can answer that one for you if you want.
yes, please.
I talked to the fire department, I talked to Ty and Bond, we're gonna widen up a couple feet
Okay,
Yes.
so that'll be in the amended plan?
before it goes out to bid.
Okay. Well, that's a legitimate reason.
Yes.
Thank you for that. And thank the fire department for their comments. So any other questions or comments from the public now? And anybody else have anything to say? All right, well, it seems that everything is in order. Beth, are we allowed to vote on this stormwater permit?
Yep.
Or do we close the hearing first?
You can do that, yep.
Okay,
Haven't cleared the decision or the permit yet, but that is gonna be based on your vote.
I just have one clarification. Am I understanding there's still work to be done on this?
You mean in terms of additional modifications to the project?
Right,
Aside from the small edits to the driveway width and, just a couple of adjusting lines here and there before it goes out, that's the last of the edits. We'll be finalizing those this week. So
well,
if we need to submit an updated set for the final permit,
I
we
think
can
that's
certainly do that.
Yeah, you can have you can put a condition on it.
Right.
If
Sure.
you want for your decision, if you wanna have a condition, then you can just.
Well,
state it.
we're relying on what they're saying, that we're gonna have an 18-foot driveway there.
Mhm.
So, assuming that's accurate and reliable, I'm in favor of it.
Okay.
Sure.
But I'm just saying, I know you haven't done a lot of decisions, so when you're issuing this and you're voting on it, you can put a condition in terms of the paper. This is another one that's done.
Same thing.
Yeah, so if you want to state that for the record, you would do that before you vote. Then you would issue the stormwater management permit with that condition.
so just for clarification, Beth, this would be the only comment that has come in since before Jeff's report.
That's correct.
Okay, and, all right, and everything seemed to be fine after the 2 peer reviews. And now they will address this last concern of the fire department. Right, okay. So I will entertain a motion to approve the stormwater permit for Harbor Trace with the condition of the 18-foot access driveway. Is that correct? Okay, is there a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the application, subject to the 18-foot wide driveway and the reflective plans that will come with that, and that the plans be recorded in the town files.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a roll call vote, please.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Robert Therian, yes.
Mike Verosco, yes.
And Laura Schifrin, yes. I will now ask for a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the public hearing for 25 Arbitrary Road.
I second that motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a roll call vote.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Robert Therin, yes.
Mike Verosco, yes.
And Laura Schifrin, yes. Thank you all very much.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Have a good next week.
Are all all the meetings are over now, right?
No,
Okay.
no, we still have another public hearing at 7:15. Oh my God, we're late.
Well, not much.
Okay. Well, I guess we did a good job getting those done.
Yeah.
So. And this one, I have to read the public notice. So I am calling the public hearing to order at 7:15 p.m. for 5 Turnpike Road on February 13th. The document has to be fixed, February 13th. Okay, yeah, okay. I'll call for a roll call vote of the board members.
Carol Hofstas, present.
Robert Therin, present.
Mike Verosco here.
Laura Schifrin here. There's a public sheet, sign-in sheet going around. I need everyone who's on Zoom to please announce yourselves.
Jeff Walsh from Graves Engineering, engineering consultant to the planning board.
Stan Dillis from Dillis and Roy, engineers for Country Estates.
Thank you.
Alf Berry, land surveyor.
Thank you.
Jessica Funioli, spectator.
Thanks, Jess. Okay, I think,
Colorado Lunenburg.
okay, Phil, thank you. I think that's everyone. All right. I need to read the public notice on this one as we are opening this hearing. In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Townsend Zoning Bylaw 145-42, Site Plan Review Special Permit, and 145-65, Special Permits. Townsend General Bylaw, Chapter 85, NPDES, Phase 2, Stormwater Management, and Chapter 175, Article 5, Stormwater Regulations. The Planning Board will hold a hybrid public hearing on Monday, January 23rd at 7:15 p.m. at Memorial Hall, 272 Main Street, and via Zoom webcast at the following link, which I'm not going to read. To review an application received from Country Estates Condominium Trust, Anestis Pavlidis, trustee, requesting a site plan review special permit and stormwater management permit for repaving an existing parking lot and modifications to create 26 parking spaces at 5 Turnpike Road, Assessors Map 50, Block 57, Lot 0. The application is available for review at the town clerk and planning board offices at 272 Main Street, or electronically upon a request to planning@townsendma.gov. Parties wishing to speak in favor of or in opposition to the proposal may do so in writing prior to the hearing, or at the virtual hearing in person, or represented by an agent or attorney. Interested parties are encouraged to attend. Respectfully submitted, Laura Schifrin, Chairman. Okay. Stan, will you be presenting for the applicant?
Sure. Yes, I will.
Actually, before you start, I need to announce that both myself and Mike Verosco do own a unit or more at Country Estates. This was disclosed to the town clerk last year, because we had a hearing before in reference to Country Estates. And the rule of necessity will plan as the planning board will not be able to get a majority without the rule of necessity with Michael or myself's lack of participation. Now that that's out of the way.
Okay.
Dan.
So as Lori said, a year or so ago, we submitted for site plan approval to just repave the parking lot. And at that time, there were several abutters on Squanicook Terrace who came forward and said, time out, there's been a lot of water problems coming from this site. And they had some pictures and documented that they had a lot of water problems there. So we went back to the drawing board, and in order to fix the drainage problems, Country Estates also decided that they would like to add some parking. So we've added 35 parking spaces. We're making the access route that goes around the pool one way. So that will be narrower, and there won't be any conflict with cars coming and going that way. And they'll just circulate around the pool. And in order to mitigate the increase in runoff, and actually the runoff from the entire site, because it had been mitigated at one point, but the outfall had fallen into disrepair, and it actually took us a while to find it, but we did find it. So to mitigate that, we've created a detention basin that all the runoff from the site will go into, and it's all sand there. It'll infiltrate into the ground. And like the last hearing, Graves reviewed the plans, had some comments. We made the revisions and sent them back, and Graves reviewed that. And I believe Jeff can corroborate that he's given us a clean bill of health as far as his comments go.
Yes, Madam Chairman and members of the board, I did issue a follow-up review letter on February 9th, and our comments that warranted revisions, which were not earth-shattering or major in nature, but nevertheless, we felt they needed to be addressed. They were satisfactorily addressed.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Beth, for getting the plan up. And board members, any comments?
I just need a clarification here. I thought we were doing 26 spaces, and I'm just heard it was 35.
The plan shows 35. I'm not sure exactly where the 26 number comes from. If it's in our narrative, that's in error. There's 35 proposed new spaces.
If I recall at the earlier hearing, we were talking about 25 or maybe 26.
No, last year it was 41.
Was it?
Last year it was 41. This is a reduction.
Okay. So the applicant is applying for 35.
Correct.
Okay. Do we have any comments from the other departments?
They need to be read into the record.
I'm sorry?
They need to be read into the record. I
Okay.
did a summary for you.
Hmm?
I summarized them for you on that. There you go. Yeah.
This piece of paper here.
Can you read them aloud, Robert, please?
Yeah, this is a summary of the referral comments. From the Board of Health, catch basins and infiltration basins must be maintained so as to not create a nuisance condition from Rick Metcalf. Stormwater agent -1.2, stormwater application question shouldn't yes be circled unless they are using excavated materials from where the proposed infiltration basin will go, but that should be clarified in the description. Comment 3, several project descriptions say 26 parking spaces. Site plan says 35 parking spaces. several mentions of the existing stormwater carry culvert daylighting in the northeast corner of the property as an existing utility. This should be drawn on the plans. Will culvert be removed following the connection to infiltration basin? Will it
I
be
think that-
removed?
Yeah, that's all specified on the plan.
That is all set? Yeah.
That's on the plan, yes.
Okay. Selectmen trust the planning boards in their decision. Assessors often improve increased pay there would have increased tax implications. No comment from mayor or conservation committee. When the comment from the Board of Health, the requirement that it be maintained, how is that enforced, or how frequently maintained, or just how does that supposed to happen?
There's a whole operations and maintenance schedule that's included in the drainage report that becomes part of the record and is part of it will be part of the decision.
So the health department would overview that and see that?
No, it's the planning board.
The
Yeah.
planning board?
The permittee is, has submitted an operation maintenance plan,
So,
part of the permit.
And isn't it a yearly submission? I mean, we get reports every year from like West Meadow. We just went through reports from a couple other stormwater properties, right?
I guess that's what I was asking. Is it already a mechanical thing that will get annual reports?
Well, I think it's now mandated once you have a stormwater permit,
Oh, okay.
what your
Thank you.
obligations are to report.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the things Stan didn't say was that the complaints about the water on one abutter was 20 years ago, 21 years ago now, and there has not been any issues since. However, to avoid anything in the future, the association has gone through a great expense to get this engineered appropriately, have all the I's dotted, T's crossed, and again, go through the expense of the installation and then the yearly inspections, all in order to pave the parking lot. The reason for the addition of the spaces is because they're going through all of this, they might as well get more parking. Does anybody else want to add anything? Any comments from the audience?
If I may, this is Jeff Walsh. I was just going through chapter 175 to see if there was a reporting requirement. I've dealt with other communities and I serve on a board that we have stormwater requirements, and if the regulations aren't extremely clear that an applicant is obligated to send a report into the approving authority, I'd offer that perhaps the board could include a condition that annually, for example, March 1st of the year thereafter, a copy of the report will be sent into the board. That at least gets the paperwork into the board, and then whether or not the board has the staff to review it or monitor it or make sure it comes in, that's a different story, but at least it gets the information in the town hall. Because one thing I've seen in practice over the years is some places are maintained very well and some are not. And it doesn't just have to be private property such as this, it can be roadways and such. And it's one thing to put the money into the infrastructure and build this, it's another thing to spend what I feel is short dollars on maintaining it. And that reporting back to the town just gives a level of comfort to the town that it's being done, and more importantly, puts the onus on the owner to actually do the maintenance. So,
Jeff, thank you for that
you're
comment.
welcome.
Beth, can you tell me, I think we should be consistent, we being the board, the planning board. So how are the other stormwater permits?
There's a form, a monthly inspection report that while the project is under construction, it's up to the permittee to report in every month. So that does happen. I mean, there are open stormwater management permits currently, and they come to me. So those inspection reports are part of the record. Once the construction phase is over and there is no more land disturbance activity, they would apply for what we call a certificate of completion. And at that point, the operation and maintenance manual or plan rules, if you will. So whatever is in the operation and maintenance plan is going to be what's in place in perpetuity. So I would ask Jeffrey if he did have a chance to review. I'm sure he did, but would you find in the operation and maintenance manual any sort of annual reporting, or would you recommend that? I didn't look at it myself in terms of what the annual, but I know there is a plan, then that's the plan that rules once construction phase is over. But for construction phase, you're all set. Every month you'll get a
I know,
report.
a word after construction.
Correct. And this-
Mr. Walsh?
Yes, the operation and maintenance plan, there was a construction phase and there was a separate long-term operation and maintenance plan. And it was the long-term, we reviewed it. We were satisfied with the content of the operation and maintenance plan. My comments a minute ago had to do with conveying to the approving authority that the operation maintenance actually being done by way of mailing in a copy of the completed operation and maintenance checklist of form, if you will, that's filled out by the person that visits the site. So to summarize, in the content of the O&M plan, we're satisfied with, and it's got, that includes how frequent things need to be checked. It's the issue at hand is just communicating to the town whether or not that O&M is being done, and holding the owner's feet to the fire, if you will, for lack of a better term, to do the O&M.
Is there, in the plan that you just discussed, does it say how frequently that needs to be done, or do you recommend that in your maintenance plan? What is the recommendation in your maintenance plan?
Okay. The frequency in the O&M plan it speaks to how frequently different stormwater features have to be maintained or checked. What I'm speaking of is I don't feel it's necessary if it's quarterly for some things that the town be burdened with having to receive quarterly reports. I would suggest to the board one report or one set of reports annually after the completion of a calendar year. Maybe give them a month or three to get it over to the town.
Okay. Yeah, if I may, that's the way the permit is currently set up. So
Perfect.
yes, they will get an annual report post-construction. We'll get monthly inspection reports during construction phase, but once that certificate of compliance is issued, it's an annual report.
That's what I was trying to find out. All right, thank you, Mr. Walsh.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you all for your questions and comments. Hopefully they've been satisfied. So now, is there since this has been back and forth and everything has been handled, is there a decision that will come forward, Beth?
Yeah, and I'm sorry I haven't drafted it yet,
Okay,
but can certainly draft that over the next week. And it would be two decisions, you know, for the site plan review and then the other for the stormwater management permit. So I'll combine them.
okay. So all right, so I'll entertain a motion to accept the site plan review for 5 Turnpike Road.
If I may, you're going to need to vote to grant approval of a special permit for site plan review for 5 Turnpike Road.
Okay, and do I have a motion to that effect?
I make a motion that we proceed with approve the site plan review as presented at this meeting tonight for Turnpike Road,
5 Turnpike Road.
5 Turnpike Road.
Is that complete motion for you, Beth?
Yeah.
Okay, is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion? I'll entertain a roll call vote, please.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Robert Therin, yes.
Mike Verosco, yes.
And Laura Schifrin, yes. Okay, thank you for that. And now, a motion to approve a special stormwater permit for 5 Turnpike Road. Is that correct, Beth?
No, sorry.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're gonna grant a stormwater management permit for a period of 2 years.
Oh, all right. Oh, and that gets renewed every 2 years?
Based on the findings, based on.
Okay,
the-
fine. Okay.
and Based on all of the.
God only knows when this will be done anyway, but the motion is to grant a 2-year stormwater permit for 5 Turnpike Road. Is that correct? Okay, I'll entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion to grant the stormwater 2-year permit for 5 Turnpike Road.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second that. Robert Therin.
Any more discussion? Hearing, seeing none, I'll take a roll call vote.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Robert Therin, yes.
Mike Verosco, yes.
And Laura Schifrin, yes. Now, can we close the public hearing?
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing on 5 Turnpike Road, stormwater permit at 7:39 p.m. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for 5 Turnpike Road, stormwater permit at 7:39 p.m. on today, 13th February.
I second.
Okay. Roll call vote to close the public hearing.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Robert Therin, yes.
Michael?
Mike Verosco, yes.
And Laura Schifrin, yes. Thank you all very much,
Thank you.
Jeff and Stan.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you. It was a pleasure working with you.
You too. It was a great job, and thanks for all your help and all that you guys do.
Thank you. Good night.
Night. Okay. Wow. 3 public hearings. Oh,
You can do, Madam Chair, if you would like to, take the A&Rs now. I believe everybody's here, so.
Oh,
if you-
sure.
Yeah, we are. Hold on, yeah. Don't let us all go.
Oh,
Okay, wait a minute. All right. So we are early, but it's not a public hearing. And if everyone is here, we can take you before 8 o'clock and you don't need to hear our boring business. I'm sorry for that. 96 Fitchburg Road, creating 1 lot and 2 parcels. Alf?
That's not me.
That is
I did
not.
not, but I see them there.
okay, you want me to grab it?
You grab them right there.
Okay.
I said everybody was here.
Here we go. He's here. He's here in person.
Oh,
He is. But I'm not that project.
okay. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you after. All right, why can't I see the people at the table? All right, now I can.
Here we
Sir?
go.
Hello. I'm Dave Browchuk with GPR. I'm here to represent 96 Fitchburg Road. It's
Okay,
a simple reduction of a larger lot, and the owner is waiting for this to happen so he can sell, and he's going to retain the other 2 parcels.
Oh, I'll screen share.
okay.
I can screen share.
Um, that one.
Uh-oh.
So you're subdividing in that 1 lot into 2, and lot 1 is the one with the house.
Correct. Currently gone under some renovations and have new septic system installed, and I believe he's ready to sell.
So he's going to sell the house, but he's retaining the other parcel?
Right now, he's retaining parcel A and B, correct?
He's gonna keep for himself parcel A,
A and B,
both.
correct.
But
B is a tiny little piece, a little tiny triangle down here. You can see. Right.
Yeah.
oh my,
Where is that? Can you point that out, Beth, on the screen?
Right there, yeah, right at the cursor.
Yeah, that's-
It was
what
in,
was the reason for that? Do you know?
in case he
Oh.
needed frontage for future use,
Oh, the frontage,
Hmm,
correct?
just frontage?
hmm.
Okay. Okay. Well, any
Well, I
questions?
just can't see it on my, I just can't see it on my screen, but how much frontage does each parcel have?
I believe it, right under lot 1, it says 20796. And parcel A doesn't have it.
Well, wait a minute. Is there 400 feet of frontage total?
Trying to figure out what the fuck they're talking about.
One technical building lot, so. Which lot are you asking about?
You have 1 parcel and you want to make 2 lots.
No, we
No.
have 1 lot and we're reducing it down so that we actually have a lot 1 to convey, and he's gonna retain the other 2 parcels.
Don't you have to have 200 feet of frontage for each parcel?
not to for a parcel.
That's what I was bringing up, Lori. That's why I can't see it.
What am I missing here, Beth?
We're not creating a building lot. We're creating a parcel. And what he does with it, if he's going to try to acquire other land or sell it to one of the abutters, it's up in the air right now.
What,
I'm not,
their thought process is?
Alf, you might want to go mute.
This was, reviewed by the building commissioner and.
What did he say?
He approved it. He said that's
He-
fine.
He approved it without 400 feet of frontage.
And, the assessors also approved it.
Okay, then I guess we have no say here, but I'm not understanding. I thought, I know from past stuff that you have to have 200 feet of frontage for a building lot, but also you can't cut off land and leave the current parcel without 200 feet of frontage. But I'm not an attorney, so I just,
Parcels are not a lot, so it's fine at a parcel.
a parcel is not a lot.
Correct.
Two different things, yeah.
What's the difference?
You can't build on the parcel.
Then why not have 200 feet with the house that he's selling?
If you combine the frontages for A and B, you would have in excess of 200 feet. You'd have 202.99. But we don't have enough area. That's why it's still going to remain a parcel.
It's 3 acre zoning, right?
Yes.
So it's 3 acre zoning.
And if I'm understanding this correctly, by creating two parcels here, the parcel where the house is
Has
now
frontage.
going to be non-conforming.
No, it has frontage, it has area.
It does,
Correct.
okay.
Yeah. it's
Oh,
a
it has
3 acre-
frontage, but it doesn't have 200 feet.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it
Lot
does. Oh, it
one
does.
is 200, almost just under 208.
Correct.
Oh, for the lot one, I see, I'm sorry. Okay, and so then the other two little ones, one of them being primarily, I see where your cursor is.
That has 200.
Just frontage. That the two of those together are what? The two of those together are not 200.
It's 202 something, 202.90.
Oh, so there was a total of 400 and something.
Yeah, 409 or 409, 410 feet, but there's not enough area for two lots.
Because there's not enough acreage, right?
Correct.
Oh, got it. I got it. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm good with that. Up to the board. Because even though, Beth, even though it's an A and R, which is approval not required, they really don't need our approval, but we do need, the planning board does need to sign off on the plan, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
And you vote on it as well, you know.
Okay.
just-
and that's the only question I had.
Endorse, vote to endorse, thank you.
Endorse? Oh, okay.
It's a vote to endorse the plan.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to endorse the plan submitted for 96 Fitchburg Road, creating one lot and two parcels.
I'll make a motion to endorse the, plan to make one lot and two parcels for 96 Fitchburg Road.
And is there a second?
Second,
Okay,
Robert.
any further discussion?
Aye.
I'll take a roll call vote, please.
No, we're in discussion, right?
We have a discussion.
Oh, yeah, we have a first and a second. You want to discuss? Go ahead.
I just had a question, just curiosity, why? Because it says here food underwater.
Yeah, there's a stipulation in the planning board for creating lots that a certain percentage of land can't be underwater. At the very rear of the parcel, there's a small segment from the pond that's on the Rod and Gun Club. So we took off 300 square feet, but it's on the parcel, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, well, I was just picturing this.
No. When you run into a lot, parcels that have wetlands and stream crossings, you want to make sure there's enough usable.
Oh, okay. No, that's why I was just picturing in my mind, like, this is like land all underwater.
Yeah.
That's all. Yes. Okay.
These aren't the only lots that I've ever seen that look like this. Long and skinny, and you can't do anything with most of it.
We call them pork chops.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hammerhead, well, then, yeah, pork chops, right? That's true. That's what it looks like.
It just seems like such a mechanical exercise that doesn't make any logic to me.
Welcome to the A&R world.
Yeah. Well, it does ultimately, I believe. Any other comments, questions?
Could I ask a question?
Who is I?
Phil Colometta.
Oh, sure, Phil.
It's creating parcel A. Isn't that a 3-acre zone?
Yeah, but it's a parcel, not a lot.
For a lot, yes, but for a parcel.
That's why they're calling it a parcel. It's not a building lot as it sits.
Okay.
And actually, this isn't a public hearing, just a
Yep.
point of order.
Yep, no.
Anyone else? We have a motion on the floor to endorse the A&R at 96 Fitchburg Road, creating 1 lot and 2 parcels. Hearing none, I'd like a roll call vote, please.
Sarah Hostas, yes.
Sorry, I have reservations about this whole concept. Can I just abstain?
I think so. Michael? Michael? I can't have 2 people abstaining. We need at least a majority, right?
Mhm.
A&R only requires a majority.
Correct.
You-
Can I entertain your reservation?
No.
Sir?
Hmm.
Do you have a mass general law that can support that?
Support which?
Abstaining.
Oh,
Well,
This isn't my project, but I'm going.
but I'm looking at this. It's a residential area, okay? It's owned residential. So we're maintaining 1 residence and we're creating a parcel, which obviously could not be a buildable lot under the zoning for that area.
correct.
So what are the alternatives? Okay, so now we're talking about land use. So what I envision in the future is someone's gonna come back and ask for a special permit for that lot for a different use. And that concerns me. And I think it's a legitimate concern. And, the community planned that and anticipated that those would be residential uses we can't get engrossed in what people's personal property lines are and then, and try to project or make a trajectory of what they're doing with these parcels. I mean, that's why I have a reservation about it, and I abstained. I didn't deny.
No, you're right, but from a planning board perspective,
Right.
and an A&R, you're allowed to judge it limited to only certain criteria. Does it have
Bingo.
frontage? And does it have area?
Of course I can't, right,
Correct,
All
so,
right.
but those,
but I don't have to endorse it.
The board does.
I don't know if I have Mike back yet. But,
The building commissioner did provide case law, and I put it in your folders. I don't know if you reviewed it.
yeah, we have approval from Vicky and the building inspector. But also think about this. We're planning and we have a housing shortage. And if someone can think of some unique way of getting another habitable property, I think that's what we're hoping for. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who these people are. I'm just trying to think about what kind of position we're in as a town and how little growth we have had. And if somebody can come up with a unique idea of creating some, even if they did a little house, I don't know, anything. It would be habitable.
I'm not, trying to, throw you guys on the bus in any sort of way, but you have a box to work within. Is it an A&R, meaning frontage and area requirements, or not? And you have to kind of sit there and look at it and go, does it meet that standard? Yes or no? And I understand, I live in a small town myself, and you have to kind of sit there and look at it and go, we can't, this one here, this isn't my project, honestly, but I'm just going, looking at it going, can you deny this on the basis of A&R? I don't know if you can.
Well, I'm not denying it. I'm not endorsing it. So I don't know.
Yeah, this is sort of a philosophical agreement here, or argument.
The other position we're in as a planning board is.
Yeah, I understand it. I believe me, I understand it.
And I don't see where the community benefits from this at all at this point. And so that's why I can't approve it. Even though I'm being told.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I get
Right. The point is.
Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been trying to get a hold of Michael, and this is, I
Sorry,
think.
guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I hit a dead zone and I heard everything. I just couldn't talk for some reason. So
Okay,
I'm back now.
then you heard we're on a motion to endorse the A&R for 96 Fitchburg Road, creating one lot and two parcels. Carol has
Yeah,
voted.
I just want to make Carol, are we in discussion or are we voting now? I signed out and signed back in, so that's why.
Yeah, we are in discussion. Do you have anything to ask?
No, I know there's other parcels in town like this that have been created. I had concerns too about what goes down for the future, but at the end of the day, I think, I think at our time it's past building, it's past zoning, it's more of a technicality now. I think it meets the requirements. I wish it have more frontage and a little bit more land. Yeah, but unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world.
Okay. So Carol has voted yes, and Robert has abstained. And how do you vote, Michael?
I'll vote yes. Mike Verosco, yes.
And Laura Schifrin, yes. So thank you. We have endorsed that A and R. Next, A and R 112 West Meadow Road, creating 3 lots. Is that you?
That's me.
Okay.
Sorry to like go crazy on you guys there, but we have we meet the requirements. You may not like it, but that's what it is.
Each of the lots has 200 feet of frontage, at least.
More than that.
I see that.
Is there a screen share going on? I just can't see.
I'm getting there. One
Oh,
moment.
sorry about that. I just want to make
Thanks.
sure it wasn't my
Thanks,
end.
Beth.
This is good.
I was able to look at them. And,
Uh,
There we go. There we
there you
go.
Any questions from the board?
It's currently 1 lot now.
Yes. Correct.
Everything looks good to me.
My guess is it's an R2 zone.
It's right down there. Let's see, where
I
is
figure
it?
somewhere she's got to move to it. I'm
Yep,
guessing by
there-
the way it was divided.
It's RB.
Yep.
So we, made it fit the precise area and frontage requirements, expanded the frontage actually.
Any questions from the board? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to endorse the A&R lot for 112 West Meadow Road, creating 3 lots.
I make a motion that we endorse the site plan presented to convert 1 lot to 3 on West Meadow Road. 112 West Meadow Road.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a roll call vote, please.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Robert Darian, yes.
Mike Roscoe, yes.
And Laura Schifrin, yes. Okay.
By the way, folks, I appreciate what you do as a day job.
Yeah.
You know what you do, it's hard.
And honestly, we are trying to make it easier
Yeah.
for people
No,
who own land to do something rather than have it take months and whatever.
Yep. No, I just want to let you know people appreciate what you do, and it's a hard job.
Thank you very much. And good
Okay.
luck with your lots.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. You can mute. Okay. Now we are um, 3.2, Beth. The stormwater management permit for Campbell Farm subdivision, request for certificate of completion.
Still on?
Yeah,
he's still there.
See,
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Stan. What would we do without you?
Go home earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want me to just jump in, Beth, and just with the owners of this project have completed the road, and they'd like to get the stormwater permit or certificate of compliance with the stormwater permit, although there's still 2 lots that are under construction. So I don't know what the mechanism to do that. Beth is of the opinion that they have to wait till the lots are finished, and if that's the board's opinion, then that's what it is. It just seems like there should be a mechanism whereby the board could sign off on a road, for example, like in this case, it's 2 lots, but what if this was a much larger subdivision and there was 3 or 4 lots that say never got built on for 10 years? Doesn't make any logical sense that you would have to keep the stormwater permit for the road and the drainage and all of that stuff active for all of that time. So I think this is more of a general question than this specific case, is how should that be handled? We talked about it here internally, and it would be a lot more work, but you might have to file a stormwater permit for the infrastructure and the drainage, and then you'd have to file an individual stormwater permit for each lot, which seems kind of overkill. But if somebody were, especially if somebody had, this could all be tied to a bond or something like that. In this case, they don't have any of those things. But if there was a bond, and one of the conditions, that they wouldn't release, the bond wouldn't get released until the stormwater permit was signed off on, that there's a lot of things here that are just kind of, no, it's not the way that I see it work in other towns. Normally, the stormwater permit is for the road and the infrastructure, and if a particular lot trips the threshold to need a stormwater permit, that would be done on an individual basis. So, my clients that I don't even know if they know I'm here. They're not here, so I'm just asking these questions in general, so I know for this project when they ask me, and for the future.
So there's 5 lots total and 3 are built on, but 2 are not.
It's a little bit of a strange thing. There's actually 6 lots total.
Okay.
Lot 1 was part of the stormwater permit, but that was separated out as an A&R lot. Lot 6 was part of the whole approval process, and it's an existing house that's to the north here that really had nothing to do with the subdivision. It was just included as part of the conventional subdivision to prove that we could do this many lots on a cul-de-sac. And then Lot 2 and Lot 5 have houses that people are living in, and lots 3 and 4 are under construction.
Are they under construction, or are they just vacant land?
No, they're under construction, both of them right now.
Oh.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes.
the building commissioner has weighed in on this, and it's his opinion that the stormwater permit should remain active until all land disturbing activities covered under the stormwater management permit are complete. What this means is the permittee will, this current permit will expire, I think it's December 9th of 2023. Is it this year? Yeah. And at that point, they will go through a reapplication process, which basically is $150 fee. It doesn't require a public hearing, but it's just another review of operations out in the subdivision. This stormwater permit was issued in conjunction with the subdivision, the definitive subdivision, and it is considered under construction.
I think they'd probably be done with both of those houses by, that's the end of this year. So
Yeah,
So, yeah.
that's probably a good idea. Just let it go and have them build the houses and
it's active now. They don't really need to do anything. So I'm more trying to clarify this for future reference than this particular project. Although I know they'd like to close it out, but if, if the board doesn't see it that way, or the building commissioner doesn't, then it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, unless a board member has something else to say about it, I don't see us overturning Eric on this one. You know, so let him finish the houses and hopefully it's done before a renewal is due. You know, if it's December, hopefully there's Christmas trees in there. People are having Santa down the chimney.
I'm sure that's what they would like. So,
Yeah, I'm sure. Get everything off the books.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 3.6. Age restricted bylaw discussion. Beth,
Oh, that was carried forward at your request.
all right, guess what? Next meeting, 3.7. 2024 Unified Planning Work Program Project Solicitation. Beth.
That's in your files. That's a program through MRPC.
Yep.
That you guys would probably want to read individually about what that is, but the town will come up with a project to propose, and a lot of times it's a intersection study or a walkability study. I don't know if you remember those.
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
So I would recommend that you read through what they're looking for. They've changed it a little bit and they're trying to look for more community-based projects, proposals.
And
So, yeah.
regional,
So
in other words,
Yes.
like that they could use this information, the same information to help many communities.
This is a
So-
state,
No, it's MRPC has grant money.
is
And
that-
so they're looking for input for the 2024 Unified Program. Okay, and nothing we have to decide tonight, but certainly to review.
Yeah, the time is pretty quick here. Let me double check on the deadline. Well, if you want, I can read a brief letter. It's up to you.
Yeah, it's
Some
just
details.
a list of the things there that they
Okay.
were looking for.
So these are lists of some of the things that that are often proposed: intersection studies, corridor analyses, walkability or bikeability studies, trail planning, crash analysis, pavement management system, freight and truck issues, and transit related studies. And again, they are trying to focus on a regional work with a adjacent town in the Montechusett region, you know, in the planning commission. So the town has had many really good projects come out of this program. So it would take some, maybe you want a subcommittee to talk about that. I don't know how you want to do that, but maybe you want a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen to talk about it. I'd be happy to.
Well. it's
What
really-
was that deadline date? Because, yeah, we would have to hopefully agree with the Board of Selectmen.
It's late February. Let me see if I can pull that up. Oh, 1 second, I'll wrap it up. Which I think on the other side. Here we go. February 28th. That's the February 28th is the dead project submittal date, which you're meeting on the 27th, so
Not gonna work.
not gonna work. No. Project requests are to be sent to Sherry Bean or myself by February 28th at the latest. However, we would recommend that you reach out to us informally at your earliest convenience so that we can discuss your thoughts and ideas. So if you want to, we could do, have a subcommittee meeting, and I'll be happy to set up a phone call or a video conference with Brad Harris and talk about some different options for Townsend. And, again, Townsend has taken advantage of a lot of really good studies already. So I got a strong feeling that regionalizing some ideas is a really, this would be the year to do that.
Right.
Yeah, but it takes some planning and some discussion, so.
Well, it's gonna be important to know what they're thinking.
Yeah, so if you guys want to do that next week or something, subcommittee meeting. What your thoughts are there?
What kind of opportunities, time or date wise, would there be?
I'm pretty open, so
Sorry?
I'm pretty open if you want me to help you with like a joint phone call or, how you guys.
Well, I might be able to participate in a limited level anyway,
Okay.
so it would be depending on my agenda.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I can be flexible and I can reach out to Brad, and we can have a conversation.
Okay, I'm like to know what they're doing.
Thank you, that'd be great.
I
All
think
right.
Veronica's had a lot of conversations with them, probably more than we have. I'm not available next week at all, but Robert, Carol, if you want to set something up with Beth and get some ideas out there, that's fine with me.
And I wonder if it makes sense to coordinate with Veronica first before we reach out.
Yes.
Yeah. We don't want to go in circles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, find out what she has done.
Okay.
This would be.
I don't know if it's a Board of Selectmen decision, though. It should be a Board of Selectmen decision, but I think she's done the reach out. I don't know that all the board is apprised of that.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I haven't heard anything. So I'll get an update then, and then we'll get the wheels in motion after I get the update from
Okay,
Board of Selectmen.
you might call me instead of email me.
Okay.
All right,
Call you.
because I don't look at that email too
Okay.
frequently.
Very good.
Okay, the next thing under correspondence is 4.1, and I just want to point out, it's about 9 or 10 pages from Courtney Borelli, the chair of the Housing Authority, and she has drafted some bylaw changes. All of these bylaw changes come from the Housing Production Plan and hopefully fall within the goals of the master plan as we put goals and strategies and goals into the master plan from the HPP. So if you could just, I'm not looking for input tonight, but please review these before we meet jointly with the Housing Authority. And Beth, that's on what date?
The 27th is a joint meeting.
With the Housing Authority and Planning.
When
Planning's
what time of day is that?
That's Monday. It'll be, that's the next scheduled planning board meeting. So, yeah, so it's a joint meeting with the Housing Authority
Okay.
in 2 weeks from tonight.
Okay, so it's going to be posted as a joint meeting for what time?
You want to say, well, it's a regularly scheduled meeting for the planning board. So what's going to
That's 6:30, but where are we going to put them on the agenda?
Well, you have a public hearing at 6:45, right, for 22 Main Street. So I don't know how long that will take, but you could, have them join at 7:15. There aren't any other, appointments on the agenda yet for the 27th, so.
All right, why don't we say 7:15 for the joint meeting?
Okay.
And then the board will review these bylaw changes that they're recommending.
Mhm.
And then we can have a discussion that night with them,
Okay.
hopefully make some progress.
Yeah, and I did have a brief correspondence with the chair of the Housing Authority, and she asked me to share these with the building commissioner.
Oh,
at
good.
this- Yeah, early on, so we can get some input, so.
Oh, good.
And I will invite him to the joint meeting as well.
Okay. What about sending that to Rick Metcalf as well, Board of Health?
Okay, yeah.
I don't think anything, I think conservation would be involved in everything that was, everything that, you know, if it applied, you know, to them. So I don't know. How about zoning? Sending them to,
Sure, yeah, I can send them along.
I think those, you know, any of the, I mean, it wouldn't be the, you know, assessors or, you know, I don't think it would that or town properties or anything like that. But as far as like input, I think needed on zoning changes, Board of Health, building inspector,
CBA.
zoning, yeah.
Okay.
Zoning would be the big one. We could have bylaws that don't need to be fought. And then,
Well, I think I mean, one of the things about these things is to try to envision all the impact, you know, potential things that they could create or impact they could have. And that's a challenge to try to predict what's coming down the road or could come down the road.
well, we already know what our current bylaws do.
Right.
And that's
And
nothing. They
and
don't allow anything.
Right, and so they're weak in some areas and don't make sense in some others, I think. So I think as far as all of us, we want to encourage affordable housing. But that also has to be related to the community needs at large in terms of some of the things I presented to that letter to the selectmen, in terms of preserving, you know, visual elements of our community and historical elements of our community and the character of the villages. I mean, I've seen so many towns where the village character has just been wiped out because of zoning changes and bylaws.
Well,
Yeah.
how do you have economic growth? How do you
can't-
afford it?
you have guidelines for that, so it can be done. And you cite your goals as to how, you know, you can illustrate how that can be done. And you know, the problem that I've been trying to work on, and I have only done a little bit at a time, is to present concepts to people that would show them how that could work, and then so that, you know, we have zoning bylaws for different parts of town, which makes sense. However, there may be more controls needed in one area versus another. So in other words, if we took the three predominant villages in the town of Townsend Harbor, Townsend Center, and West Townsend, the sense of arrival there to visually recognize it's a village space, maintaining the character and the history of that area. And then, okay, so now we can deal with an accessory use. But maybe the bylaws in those districts have to have more limitation on those accessory uses or more requirements for them, so not to destroy what's there. And so, for example, if an existing building has the square footage in it, that the building itself can be subdivided to get more units, I think that would be something worth considering. But increasing visual density of more massing and structure in those areas can be very detrimental. And so those are the things that I wanted to try to illustrate. And then we have other areas in town where we have more freedom and more liberty to do things with. So all of this has to be put into a stronger focus to relate to, comprehensively relate to the various parts of our town and what is of significance in each of those parts and which ones are less significant. And that will give you a comfort level of how to proceed. And I understand the more requirements we put on things, the more people have to look at. But that's what our town probably needs. So
Okay, all right. I appreciate your opinion, Robert. But it's getting late. The hour is getting late. 4.2, stormwater management permit projects, updates, inspection reports, other related to correspondence. Anything on that, Beth?
Yeah, just to follow up and let the board know that both Three Wheeler Road and the Campbell Farm OSPD stormwater management permits were recorded. So that information is in just an update for the board.
Okay, thank you for that. And notices from other towns, is Robert going to do that?
Did they have to do that? Was that the summary he read earlier?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
But they.
Those were referral forms.
Oh, okay.
Well,
They brought in a bunch of them.
yeah, that's cool.
There was quite a few. I read through them.
There are quite a few, because the last meeting was canceled and continued, so. How would you like to proceed? Would you like me to skim them?
Yeah, I don't think you need to do any that have already had their meetings. What's coming up, unless you have any that have been granted or, you know what I mean, that might impact.
Okay, I'll check the dates. Good point.
That might help.
Yeah. Okay, the Town of Shirley Planning Board granted a notice, site plan review. And that is in there for submitted by Prit Patel of 141 Grant Way, Lancaster, Mass. That was for seeking relief from a protective zoning bylaw related to use and a site plan review. The parcel is located at 12 Front Street in the Shirley Village Business District. Then, okay, so that was approved there. I guess they built a gas station there. And moving on. Town of Pepperell Planning Board, notice of public hearing, which has already gone past. Town of Groton, that's gone past. Okay. A lot of these have gone past. Yeah, so.
All right, well, next time.
Yeah. I think a bunch of them have gone past, but I would just offer up so everyone knows the 2022 annual drinking water quality report was dropped off at the office for you guys to have. That was also distributed to the public. There is a notice from the Conservation Commission. And this one is for a public hearing on Wednesday, February 22nd. And that is for a septic replacement, an installation of a new tank. What else do we have? I put the planning board decision in the folders for 227 Mason Road, as well as the zoning board notice of decision and decision for 75 Pierce Road. Want to review that? That's an accessory apartment, so you can have a look at that. What kind of findings of fact? I recommend just like browsing through it so you can see how the zoning board permits that. And that's it. Yeah, that's it.
So 4.4, update on safe routes to school, Carol?
I talked to Emmy Hoff. She had signed up for a winter walk that was supposed to take place on 7th February, but I guess she said something about, I guess she can't post flyers in the schools anymore, and so she really didn't get any participation, so it never really happened.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
They can't post local events
I
to
guess
people
she's,
participate in at the schools? Oh, I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I can't either.
Yeah, okay, so what's going on with the owl? Cannot hear you.
can't hear me.
Oh,
The
now I
owl-
can.
The owl died.
I can hear now.
Yeah, for a hot second.
Okay. So, yeah, from what I understand, she had sent me an email saying something about the flyers, and then she wanted me to know if I knew how to do some social media thing, and I said, nope, not me. I have no idea. I said, I have no help whatsoever in doing any notifications on social media, and so yes, it didn't take place, so, I'm not sure what we'll be doing in the future if we can't get participation.
I didn't understand why we can't post anything in the school.
It's a new policy or something not to post flyers. I'll have to ask my daughter. My daughter's, well, she's on the PTO for the middle school. I'll have to ask her about that.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Okay, 4.5, Citizen Planner Training Collaborative.
Oh, yeah.
Just a notice.
The annual conference is coming up, March 18th. It's an all-day event at Holy Cross. Everyone's encouraged to attend, and the town administrator would, if there's just a lot of information, there's a lot of courses, so he's encouraging board members to attend if possible. You choose from a number of different workshops. And
What's the date on that?
it's the whole day. It's a Saturday, March 18th. Yeah, at Holy Cross in Worcester. Registration should be opening soon, so if you can let me know, we can, I'll get everybody registered.
Okay. Not sure I can commit to that, especially a full day.
Yeah, in Worcester.
Okay, 4.6, 2023 Mass Freight Plan Flyer.
Yeah, there's a survey going all around. There's a lot of surveys going around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Jeez.
understand that survey before I gave up.
Oh. Okay, that one just has to do with multimodal transportation, and if you're being impacted, I think that's what I read it, is, you know, if there's any impacts to truck and freight, you know, and the plan is basically to improve freight.
Right.
Yeah,
It
service
writes out
to
something about,
communities.
how often do you get deliveries and stuff, and I'm like,
I already answered
I
that.
never, my daughter maybe every day, but maybe.
So, yeah.
Here, it's more like Amazon.
Well, part of it get very personal too. How many miles you travel? What do you do? That was a little excessive.
Yeah.
I bailed on it too. I said, I'm not doing this.
Okay, 4.7, transportation open forum flyer. Is that an announcement date or?
Yeah, that's in your folders. I don't know. Oh, I think that's February 16th coming up. Again, that's to discuss to get input for the regional transportation plan that's being drafted.
Okay. That's my day off. 4.8, draft limited language proficiency access plan for the Metropolitan Planning Org.
Yeah, there's a comment period open, and I believe it closes fairly soon, like tomorrow. So if you want to go into the folder, or if you want me to print out the plan, if you have any comments, that's, we feel like you can submit them individually. The information's in the folder, so in your
All right.
packets.
And Brownfields Roundtable announcement.
Yep, again, that's some roundtable that you're welcome to attend, and the information is also in the packet.
All right.
Its planners are invited, so yeah, planning board members.
Okay, so 5.1, next scheduled planning board hybrid meetings are scheduled for February 27th, March 13th, and April 10th.
Okay.
If there's no other business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn at 8:38 p.m.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:38 p.m. on 13 February 2023.
And I'll second that. Arbitrary to adjourn.
Okay, I'll take a roll call vote, please.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Robert Darian here, yes.
Mike Roscoe, yes.
And Laura Schifrin, yes. Thank you all so much for your participation this evening.